Okay, when we talk about the parameters, basically there are a wide range of the types of the parameters. First, we need to understand all one by one. I'm just putting a note here so that to make it more clear. The first one is maybe you'd say it's built-in parameters. Let us just have a small discussion about what are the parameters. Built-in parameters are those which are basically built-in and you cannot edit. They are, they are set by the Autodesk by default in the project as well as in the family. And then we move to the next one, which is family parameters. Family parameters and then project parameters. So family parameters and project parameters, there's a difference between these two. Basically, both of them are parameters. They are meant for making the things parametric. But the difference is regarding the scope of the parameters. For example, for family parameters, it has a limited scope that the parameters can only be functional within the family. You can control the family geometry, family appearance, whatever you want to control within the family, and you can just load into the project and you can control those parameters by selecting those particular families. But since the family parameter has a scope limited to the families itself, so they are not appear in the schedules as well as in you cannot tag them, because for tagging we have a different family source file. So basically, we cannot tag the family parameters in the project and we cannot include them in the schedule. As far as the project parameters are concerned, as the name itself suggests, we create them in the project itself, and they have the scope across the project within one project. Okay, when we talk about the scope within the project, that means we can include them in the schedules as the schedules are there within the project only. But again, if we talk about tagging them, we cannot tag them because tags come from a different source file. And then again, the next one, which is the shared parameters. These are very considered to be the very powerful parameters because they can be included in the project, in the family, and they have the scope, a very wide scope. They can control, they can be tagged, they can be included in the schedules as well. So this is the difference between the family parameter, project parameters, and the shared parameters. This is something which makes these parameters different from the others. And last but not the least, there's one more thing is which we called global parameters. This is also something very useful in some cases. I will show one example, a few examples for that. Okay, we are aware about these built-in parameters. We need not to, we cannot actually edit them. Family parameters, we are aware. Project parameters, we are aware. Yeah, please. Some, sorry, I didn't get you. Please come again.
The Paresh is asking built-in parameters are the system parameters, right?
Yeah, system parameters, the same name. You can call them system parameters or the built-in parameters. The same thing. Anything else, Paresh?
No.
Okay. I'll just move to the family parameters. Just give a brief that what it is meant for, and then I'll move to the project parameters. I will just try to create some parameters in front of you, and then we will talk about the shared parameters in details. For example, I'm just creating a wall here. This wall is having some built-in parameters you can see in the instance as well as in type. We all understand what is the difference between the instance parameter and the type parameter because we are talking about the parameters. It is essential to understand. We all understand what is the difference between the instance and type parameters.
Yeah. Yes. Instance is only separate object, specified object. No?
Okay. So basically, if we see that these are the loadable families and these are the system families, we don't have the family file for this, and these are the loadable families. If I open one of these, for example, this is door, and we see in the door itself, we have some parameters panel width, panel height, and we also have some dimension parameters. There are so many parameters which are being created. If we select any one of them and just click on edit, we found that these are set to as the family parameters. They cannot appear in the schedules in the project, or neither they can be tagged, because as I already mentioned that it is not a scope. Okay, these are the family parameters, and the project parameters. What just giving you one example about the. Okay, one more thing. If we are in the family environment and we are looking for some parameters to control my geometry, the appearance, whatever, I'm just going to put, for example, I'm going to put one dimension, maybe from here to here. And this, I just want to have a parameter, maybe controlled by some other parameter or maybe directly. So what we will do, we just put this parameter, and here we have an option whether we want to make it a family parameter or the shared parameter. Okay, this is how we create the family parameters, or not just by selecting the dimension, we can directly go into this family types and we can create the new parameters from this button, whatever the category, whatever the data type and the group parameter, and we can name it either. Here also we can decide whether it is going to be a type parameter or an instance parameter, in addition to the selection of the parameter types. So this is how we create the family parameters. I'll just quickly run through the project parameter as well, that what is meant by the project parameters. For example, we are in the project environment only. From the manage tab, there is an option to create the project parameter. For project parameters, we just open, it's a different interface into 2025, otherwise in 2024 and the lower version, it is a different interface, but the things are same. We are now just asked to create new parameter, or we can edit any existing parameters. Also the parameter from service, and this is the for delete. Now I'm going to create a new parameter. New thing which appears in which makes these project parameters, creation of the project parameters different from the creation of the family parameter is this category dialog on the right side. Because in a family, we are dealing with a parameter which is related to that particular family, and all the families having their own categories. But in the project, we have different families from different categories, and we can assign the parameter, even a one single parameter can be assigned to multiple categories. This is the difference between the family parameter and the project parameter. For example, I'm going to uh, create a parameter, project parameter for the scope. The name is a scope of work. For example, it's a very basic name I'm giving. The discipline, it is applicable for all the discipline. The data type I'm going to put as a text, and it will go under maybe any group parameter. I'm going to put it in the other. It will be other. I will show you that how it makes difference. We can change the group also, that where it should be, where this particular parameter should appear. And now I'm going to make it a type parameter. For the categories, I'm going to assign this particular parameter to be applied for walls in addition to the doors. Only two categories I'm going to apply this parameter. The parameter name is the scope of work, and it will fall under the other group parameters. I will say OK, and then OK. Whenever I will select any of the wall in the project, we will find that in the instance, in the type only, because I have created the type parameters, we will find a group. This is a group. This IFC parameter is a group. This identity data is a group. So at the bottom, I opted the other group. So it is mean for that. The scope of work is there, and I can put anywhere that this is maybe for contractor scope or something else. But this is actually applicable to all the walls, even if I create a new wall, or if I take copy the wall from the other project to this project. So it will be applicable for all the walls. Any wall in the project, we will find that this parameter is available for all the things. Okay, scope of work. Also, For the doors, we'll check because we have created this in the type category, type parameter. At the bottom, we will say there is already one parameter available there. Frame thickness is set to some dimensions, but we have created another parameter, scope of work. It is available there. Again, for example, I'm calling this the scope of work to the contractor. Okay. So any new door family, any door we create in this, we will find that particular parameter because we have created it as a project parameter. For example, now see a different thing that if we create a table, this is in a furniture category. So because we have assigned that parameter to only for door and walls, so it is not available there scope of work. If we want to include that also, we will just go to the manage tab, project parameters, and then we will edit this scope of work. We'll click on edit. And in the categories, we will include the furniture as well. This is the furniture, hide and check categories. Now it is applicable for doors, furnitures, and walls. So let it be like this. And now just I'm going to create, I'm going to select and check the edit properties. Scope of work is there. Okay. This is how we create the project parameters. If we try to check these parameters in the schedules, we can check in the schedules. For example, I'm going to create a schedule for walls. We see that, for example, I'm going to take family and type very first thing, and then next the scope of work. We can see that this is available scope of work in the schedules. So we can see here, I mentioned scope of work in one kind of wall, one type of wall. So it is only visible there, not for the other. If I mentioned there also, or we can have this by drop menu. Shamim, there is today, yesterday I told you that there is some disturbance in the mic from your side. Maybe what is the problem? Some sound is actually very irritable sound is coming.
Is there a feedback until now?
And it becomes very loud
Yes.
sometimes. I'm not able to understand.
Are you still hearing it now?
Can you please mute for a while and let me check? Yeah, it is not there now. Please unmute.
Yeah, strange. We don't have anything in the background, but I don't know what's going on.
No problem. Just check it
Don't
later
have it.
because at times it becomes very loud and it's very hard to understand that if somebody is telling there. But anyways, this is about the project parameters. As I told you that the scope of the project parameters is within the project, so we can include them in the schedules. But if we want to include them in the what do you call in the tagging, so let me just show you. If I'm just going to put a tag there, and this particular information, which is the scope of work, if we want to put it in the tag, so we need to just open this family. This is another family. This is not the project. So this is what the project, this is out of the project parameters scope. Still, if you will check this field, we are not finding that scope of work there. This can only be happen with the help of the shared parameters that they are having the wide range of the scope. So this is I will tell you in the next round. But before moving to the next round, I just want to make it clear that everyone is clear about these three categories of the parameters: built-in parameter, family parameter, and the project parameters. Any question regarding these three? I think you are on mute, so I'm not able to hear. You are telling something, but I'm not able to hear.
Yeah, we're good so far. You can proceed.
So far. All right, great. Okay, moving forward. Now it comes to the shared parameters because the requirement was uh, to have a parameter which has a scope across the project and the family. Even if we created in one family, it should be appear in the schedule in the project. Also, it can be the same parameter can be tagged. So that means that particular parameter can be accessible in the tag family itself. So that is why there is a common txt file being created while we create a shared parameter. I have created one a shared parameter, but I will try to create a new one in front of you so that it will become easier for us to understand that how we create the shared parameters. For example, uh, I created a project parameter which was named as the scope of work. If the same parameter we want to see in the schedule as well as in the tagging, also we want to see that particular parameter in the family, because if I open, you see I have applied this parameter to the door family, to the door, and it is available there in the type properties. But still, if I open the door family and I don't find this parameter here in the family, in the other group, you can see only frame thickness is there. Okay. So what we will do, we will try to change this particular parameter from the project to the instance parameter, to the shared parameter. For this, what we will do, first we will go and create a shared parameter from the manage tab only. Just below the project parameter, there is one thing we call shared parameters. We'll just go. And there are already some existing shared parameters which has been created. What I will do, I will delete this. Don't want to use this because I will create a new parameter file for you. We'll go for this one also. We'll delete this. Okay, anyways, we'll just go and create a new file. Let this file be there. I'm just going to create a new file. We'll discard this test shared parameter. Today's date is 2808. Test parameter txt file. This is what I'm going to give the new name to the file. Once we create this txt file, you can see in the folder it's been created. Here we have this file. If we just open it, we see there is some coding has been done, something. But it is strictly recommended that do not edit this file manually. There can be some accidental issues. Anyways, okay, this is created. Now the next step is, because we are not finding anything and any command active to create a property to move in the parameter group, because first of all we need to create a group. This is how we segregate the different shared parameters under different groups. For example, I'm going to create a parameter under the group walls, and now it becomes active. I'm going to create a parameter named scope of work, and it is going to be a text parameter, for example. Scope of work is done. Again, I'm going to create a new group named the same, it is for door. Let's just check it for this wall only. Okay, it's been created, but still it is not the part of the project parameter. It has been created. I'm just going to delete this just to avoid any confusion, or just better I just rename it. In the prefix, I'm going to put PP. This is project parameters. PP is proposal. We'll just check that in the property of the wall, it's been renamed to, so it's in the type parameters. It's been renamed to project parameters proposal. Okay. Now I'm going to add a shared parameters. I will create one, and instead of project parameters, I will just select the shared parameters. You see, now you are not able to write the parameter name because it has already been done there. And it is up to us whether we are going to make it an instance or type. Now this time I'm going to make it an instance parameter under the category wall. And the group parameter we can change. Again, I'm going to have this in other group. Okay. So I'm going to create a new parameter, shared one. Okay, I'll have to select the file first. I haven't selected. We'll have to select the file. Here we have that shared parameter file. The parameter name is the scope of work. I can edit this also, but I'm just going to select this one, which has already been created. Going to make this an instance parameter, and under the category of group category of others, now I'm going to press OK. Okay. If I select any of the wall in the instance properties in the other group, we find a parameter scope of work here. This is one thing. Okay, I'm just going to check whether this is included in the schedules. One schedules I have already created. We'll check that schedules only, wall schedule. This was actually previously created with the same name. I will just remove this and then have it again to have the correct name. This is project parameters, scope of work, and then I'm going to introduce the new one, which is the scope of work, been created as the shared parameter. You can see it's also there. If I put any value there in the wall property, for example, A, B, C this time, and then X, Y, Z for this particular wall, because it is now instance parameter. You can see there are two walls having two different instance properties of the scope of work. First one is ABC and then second one is XYZ. This is one thing which was also doable with the help of the project parameter. But the next thing, which is the tagging. If I go to this tag family, I will just edit the family and try to see how to add that scope of work shared parameter under this family tag. We see that it is not still available because we have not created in this family. We'll just go and create a new. It allows you to create only the shared parameters. You'll just select and then say scope of work, select, okay. And now we can take it here. You can replace the type mark, which was already used. Say okay, and then load it back to the project. You see this property is now tagged. It is tagged. This is XYZ. Suppose I'm going to create a new wall and I'm going to put the same tag over here because it is not having any value in the scope of work dialog. 1, 2, 3 this time, and then see it is visible. So this is the difference of the shared parameters, which make it different from the family and the project parameter as well as the built-in. The next thing is global parameter. Before discussing the global parameters, I would like to ask if anybody is having any question regarding this shared parameters.
Global parameter. Okay, the first question is about global parameter. Please go ahead. We have one question at least. Okay, Kashif, let's go to the next one. Global parameter. Everyone has confusion about it. We don't know what is it. You have to give us it.
Because the structure team is also here, I have a very specific thing related to the column and beam tag here. If it is required, so I can give a small demonstration for the beams and columns tagging as well by creating the shared parameters. If it is required, so I can show, otherwise I'll move to the global parameters.
Yeah, okay. Please do this.
Okay, as you see, these are the basically concrete beams and these are the columns. We have three types of I've created three types there for the beams and then three types for the column, which is already there. Okay, I'm just going to tag them. Tag by category, you see, when we are tagging it, what we are seeing that it is actually taking the name of the type. Is it 400 by 800 millimeter? This is actually because of the name has been assigned 400 by 800 millimeter. What if we want this mm to be there in the name of the beam, but we don't want to see it in the schedule, in the tag? What if? Because you can see and you can check this the tag family. In the tag family, in the label, we see that it is meant for the type name, but it is not governing by the size of the beam actually. The disadvantage of this, even if I am not changing the size of the beam, here in this case it is okay, it is 400 by 800 and name is also corresponding to the same. Even if without changing this, I'm just going to duplicate and make it, for example, 600 by 1000 depth beam. Without changing the dimension, what it will do, it will change the tag, even if the beam is not of the correct size. But the thing is that only the name is correct, it is taking the property. So this is the first requirement, that what if we want specifically want these B and H to be the part of this, the tag family. This is one requirement. The other requirement is that if we are willing to check the width and the depth of the beam, the schedules, the quantities, structural framing, will take family and type, and we don't find the B and H anywhere, because those parameters are basically there, which can change the geometry of the beam. But unfortunately, those parameters are not available in the schedule. Because what is the reason of that?
That is not shared by.
Exactly. That is not even the project parameters. These are basically the family parameters, and they have their scope limited to the family itself. So what we can do, just go edit the family and go to the family types. We can just click on this B, just edit this and click on shared parameters. Just select the shared parameter file which we have already created. Edit this, create a new group name for structural framing. Here we can segregate different parameters with the help of the categories. And now I'm going to give this a name B. We'll go with the same parameter name, because there is, in order to avoid any confusion, we'll take this name as B, as it was previously done, B. And now it is a shared parameter. We can just again cross check. Yes, this is a shared parameter. Again, in the next parameter, we'll do the same thing. We'll just select the shared parameter, select the same file, edit. Under the same group in the structural framing, we can create another parameter naming H. Okay. In the data type, it is by default length, H, and then H. Okay. Oh, okay. It is mistakenly taken B. It was already there. Just click on shared parameter, select the same file, take H, and now press OK. It's done. Okay. And just load this family back to the project, overwrite the existing version of the parameters. Now, this has been set to the shared parameters. First, we will check in the schedules that whether we are able to see this parameter there or not. Just see, B is already there. And if we press H, it is already there. Now we have the B and H, both of them appear in the schedule. This is one thing. This is one advantage. And then accordingly, we can have a calculated parameter at the end, say the volume with the help of the volume. We can apply a formula. Okay, first we need to have the length of the beam as well. Length of beam is also required for calculating the volume. Concrete volume with the help of this volume, B into H into into length. These three listed items are being multiplied here to get the volume. Okay, concrete volume. You can see it in the schedule. It is already calculating the volume 400 by 800 into 6100. It is 1.95 cubic meters. We can do maybe one thing, length and concrete volume. We can calculate total so that if the bottom, if it is desired to have the total concrete volume, grand total, we want to see the totals only. We can see the total of the concrete volume. Okay, this is one thing. This is one advantage of making this parameter as a shared parameter. Again, I'm going to change the family tag. We'll edit the tag family once again, edit the label, and create the same parameter here, selecting the structural framing group. B is already created. And then again, H is also created. Now we have both B and H. We'll remove this type name. We'll first take B and then H. What we can do between B and H, because it will give you 400 and it will give you 800. There has to be a gap. We can add a suffix in the form of this X, small x. And here we go. This is done. We can load it back to the project. You see now it's actually taking the dimension of the correct dimension of the beam, not the name. Even if the name is set to 600 by 1000, but the correct dimension of the beam is 400 by 800. This is the another advantage. This is something I just wanted to show the structure people because I find it useful. If there is any question in this regard, can anybody can ask, and whether you find it useful or not.
Kashif.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear.
How to control the gap between the 400 and the X? The space between the X, no? You have something, no? In between.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have one option, but just tell about that one also.
Yeah,
This is
one thing, spacing. This is a spacing. We can increase the space or we can have the zero gap also there. For example, I'm putting it 0, so it will reduce the gap and then we can load it back to the project. Overwrite the program. It's there. We can increase the gap, we can decrease the gap, or also we can stretch this window or we can compress this window. This is up to us because this is not the subject, so I was not putting more light onto it. Anyways, if anybody is having any question that what is the importance of having shared parameter instead of this family parameter, because it was not at all useful, which was previously set by default. It was not at all useful when we were not able to put the value in the schedule. We were not able to tag them properly. It was only dependent on the type name of the beam. The same things apply for the column, I can see. This is also applicable to this. The other things also.
Steel beam also.
Rashid, we can use these
Steel
things
beam?
in steel beam.
Anywhere.
Steel beam, no?
Anywhere. We can,
Just-
we just
So-
know.
Just show one.
Sorry?
Just to show one example.
In steel beam.
Can we use it for wall also?
No, it is applicable for, because I just don't want to be specific to wall, to window, to anything, to steel beam, because we also have the other options. And for steel beams, we have 2 or 3 sessions specifically dedicated. So I would prefer to take that for the steel beams in that particular session. But yes, it is applicable, but the process will remain same. We have to check whether the parameters available there are actually the family parameter or are they appearing in the schedule or not. This is first thing we want to check. If you want to make them the shared parameter, yeah, please go ahead. Somebody is telling something.
This question regarding about the tag in steel.
In steel,
just
steel frame.
change and check it.
Your voice is actually not very clear because of that disturbance. I'm telling you, some audio problem is there.
Just change one beam in steel and check the tag, is it work or not.
This is steel beam. You see structural framing. This is a steel beam. And I'm going to put this tag here. I'm going to check the parameters being used for this steel beam. I believe most of them are the family parameter. Which parameter do you want to control? The width.
We want
the width and the
beam
height.
size, no?
The width and the height. correct?
No. Type.
No, this is type. Is it T or C section, whatever?
UB like that, no? UB.
Universal beam.
UB 305 into type name. Type, no? Above. Type.
The default type name.
UB 305 into 1.
That's the size of it.
Yeah. So you want to see this particular thing in the tagging? Okay, you can have,
Yes.
you can always duplicate this tag because it was meant for reading the beam size. What we can do, we can just duplicate this and then save as. I know tag structure framing. I would, for now, I am just adding a suffix with underscore 2. We can rename it according to your requirement. We'll save it. And instead of having these two parameters, which were set to be shared, we will remove these parameters from here. Again, I will take the type name. It was already there. The type name we can take again. And then we can load it back to the project. For this particular beam, we can use this. So this is also a structural framing tag. This is also a structural framing tag, but you see multiple families are selected. This is another tag. This is another tag. Is this what you were talking? You were asking?
Yeah, just 1 minute. I will explain.
Okay.
So the tag, when you choose the tag and you go inside and try to select a family, this time you have changed it to another tag. You saved it as suffix.
No, this is type name.
I will get.
See, Kashif, they don't
This is
want
type
the
name.
type name.
Maybe
Instead of type name, they need to
actual size
extract the
is different.
parameters from the family.
Name only here is appearing.
Oh, okay. Actual
We want
size
the
you want
actual
to.
size we want.
Because actual size
Yes,
is there in the parameter.
yes, we'll have to check whether this information is available either in any form because 305, 165, and 40 should be there anywhere in this beam. I think this is in centimeters.
No,
This is
the one. Yeah,
This is in centimeters.
these are centimeters, and this is giving us the millimeter value, I believe.
Yeah.
So I think this should be the same thing. I'm not sure, but 160. What about okay? The width is 165, which is taken correctly. So we'll have that means we'll have to change this, and what about 40? Where is 40? It's not there. What about
Thickness
40?
is 40 points.
Yeah.
Do you find it anywhere? This is, I mean, normal weight. The last.
No, this is weight. This is the thickness. This is the flange thickness.
Flange thickness.
We are talking about. One thing I'll highlight here is that this is an universal beam. We cannot have different types. So this is the perfect shape. It has to have this name.
Yeah,
we cannot change the size.
There are standards,
So,
but still, if it
this
is
is not same as
yeah.
normally we can change, but this is standard.
Okay.
Okay.
We can use the type name.
Still, if it is specifically required, we need to find out that which parameter is taking this value. Accordingly, we'll have to create those parameter and to make those family parameter to be as a shared parameter. And once it is done, that can also be included in the tag family. But in that case, also we need to have a different tag family because for this we are having only B and H, B into H.
Yes.
For this one, we need to have a different tag family. So we can name them accordingly that this is the tag. Once you select this, you will have then option in the type selector, whether you want this one or you want this one. So you can have number of tag family there. For all the steel beams, you can apply this one, which you can create on the basis of the dimensions you are having. I hope this is clear.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So,
any other question related to the shared parameters?
For what?
Can you show it for wall one more time? What is the question really?
Same tags if you want to know the thickness of the wall and the detail. Because always we tag wall and construct and the detail drawing. So we want only with the click without
The tag name WT3 or whatever you want to see the thickness instead of this. Okay. This ABC that you can see on the screen, Kashif, can you make it to the thickness of the wall?
Thickness of the wall is basically it is governing by the built-in parameter, which is the width parameter, and this is the system parameter. So either we can introduce another parameter which somehow read the overall thickness of the parameter, because we cannot edit the system parameter or which you call the built-in parameter. We cannot edit this.
So we have to do it.
Okay, let me just create a parameter which somehow.
Oh, okay.
You can add a new parameter and just connect with the width. So it will reflect always.
Do you say something? I can't hear.
Okay, more good. Next.
Global parameter.
Very well impressive. Global.
Yes, let's go to global parameter, Kashif.
Okay. Shall I move to the global?
Yes.
Yeah. We'll try it together.
Okay. Global parameter is something. This is very useful thing. What I will do, I will select all these things, place it somewhere. I will set a very small example first to show you that how this actually works. For example, we are having a door here. So see, this is one example. What if we want this to be consistent? This offset of the door from the wall need to be consistent, or there are chances this can vary from project to project sometimes. So what if we fix with the lock constraint somewhere, so there is a chance that it is changed based on the design decisions. One more example, we'll take some furniture item there, and we want to keep some distance from the wall face. For example, we have standard to keep any movable furniture or maybe something like that. Maybe there's a bed or something else. For now, I'm putting a table there. They need to have some distance from the wall face. So the basic thing, other than the built-in parameter, we can just lock it, and then we see this door cannot be moved. Even if we change this wall, this will take the door along. But this can be limited to this particular dimension only, 400. We'll go to the manage tab again. First one was project parameters, shared parameters, and at the bottom there is one more thing which is called global parameter. I will create one parameter here. Name it door offset. It is again for the length. I'm making it for the length. And I'm putting some value there, maybe 150, 6 inches. Another parameter, furniture, suppose furniture clearance from wall. Again, this is a length parameter, a dimension one. I'm going to put some value there, for example, 50 mm, 2 inches from the wall face. This is done. So for we have two global parameters being set to the project. I'm going to select all these dimensions which are related to the door offset. Okay. Once I select this dimension, I'll have this, we have this label and we have this drop down menu. Here we can put it a door offset. This also. Yes. door offset, but it normally doesn't happen. It is some problem with my Revit at this time. You can select multiple dimension and put them in the same same label, door offset. The advantage of this dimension, the global parameter, we can just click on edit and change the value here to 300. You see, it is applicable everywhere. One very interesting thing with this global parameter with the help of this dimension is that even if we delete these dimensions, if we delete all these dimensions, so it asks whether you want to delete the dimension and also want to unconstrained. You just press OK. It will remain constrained. Even if once you select a door, it will show you temporarily that door offset global parameter is also applied there. You have deleted the dimension, you have set that particular to the global parameter, just go and edit the value there in the global parameter dialog. You just make it 150 once again to make it 150. All the doors have been shifted to 150 offset from the wall face. Same applicable for this. I'm going to put this on a different global parameter. This is furniture clearance from wall. You see, we can delete these two dimensions and then press on OK. If I unconstrain, it will go off. There is no linking between these two. So I will press delete and press on OK. We'll select this. Dimensions are already there. Either we can click on this edit tool or we can just go to the global parameters, change the value there. If it is 100, see the difference. Let me put some bigger value. For example, 500, it is there. So this is how we create the global parameter, and this is what their application. It can be useful in many ways. I'll show you another example once again. It can be used in many ways. For example, we are having maybe this empty curtain panel. Okay. This is not having any curtain grade or mullion. And we want to have some curtain grades. Let's just reduce the length of this curtain wall. We want to have some curtain grids, the vertical ones, these two in between we want to play, and this is from the top. We want to fix these dimensions, and also we want to have a constraint for this. So what we will do, again, we will go back to the global parameters. We will create a new curtain grid side margin. It will be in the length and dimension only. I'm creating all the parameters for the length and curtain grid top margin. Okay, I'm going to select these two dimensions. See, I have selected two dimensions and it is still active there. It was some problem with my Revit. So this is side margin. I'm going to put it 1100. For now, it is 1100. And this is the top margin. And now we have the control. We can have a different panel, curtain panels having the same same global parameters. For example, we want to control this to be 1200 everywhere. It will be applicable. And then again, for this case, we want to have this 2400 wherever we have put this global parameter. So it will be applicable everywhere. So these are the way we can use the global parameters. There can be a number of ways depending upon creativity that how can we apply this particular parameter. Even on a long wall, we have multiple windows there and we want to maintain the gap between two windows or two consecutive doors, maybe two different items. In a long dormitory, we have different beds, maybe number of beds in a row. We want to maintain the gap between two beds. You can put a value there. Also in a building, in a floor plan, for example, we have this is taking the curtain wall. For example, we have this room. And then we have a corridor like this, hallway, and we want to maintain this corridor width all the way. So we can what we can do, we can just put the dimension having the global parameters. It will then set back to the desired dimension. We'll select all these dimensions. We will set a parameter there, hallway, and then we can put any value there. For example, we want to make it 1200 or maybe 1500 in one go. It will change everywhere. So it can be useful in number of ways depending on upon our creativity and our use, our requirements specific to the project. We can use it. So these are the types of the parameters: built-in, family, project parameters, shared parameters, and the global parameter is the last. So anything related to these parameters, you can ask.
The global parameter only depending on the for the dimension only, no? You can connect only dimensions.
Mostly it is used for the dimensions, but as if you see, you can apply it to different things also. If I create a parameter, number of things for finishes also you can apply, for materials also you can apply. If you want me to show how it can be applied for the finishes, I can demonstrate, but you can try it yourself also. It can be applicable to these data types, and these are the data types you can apply the global parameters. You want me to show? I can show it.
Show an example.
You want me to show?
I show one example.
Show one example. Okay. Okay. For example, we have this door having some finish parameter there. Door frame, material door, it is door panel, set to the door panel. And this is a different family. Let me first reduce the height of the wall to make it a little more easier to operate. This door, this is a different family. We see this is also having a material of the door, which is set to the door panel. Okay, I am going to make a global parameter, name door panel. Okay, this will be applicable to materials and under the group of the material and finishes, and then press OK. I'm going to put a desired material there. For example, I'm going to just put a different, which is, it can be maybe glass. For example, I'm going to put this glass in this door panel global parameter. What I need to do is select this family, go to there, and then here we have an option of 3 dots. You can see in the family, against every material, we have these 3 dots option where we can put and change the material. Other than that, there is a box on the right, associate global parameter. You can see on the screen. Is it visible to you?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You can just click on it and assign this global parameter which we have created, and then say OK. You see, this has been changed to the glass. Everywhere we have this particular family type. The same thing has to be done there. Door panel, we can just associate this to the material we have created so that we can change the material of the door in one go. Same thing can be applicable for door frame. So there are a number of ways we can apply and play with these global parameters. Is it clear to you that how we can apply the material parameter with the help of the global? We can do this for this table also without.
This can be done by category material, no? You can use by category material also, same like this, no?
Sorry, I didn't get it properly.
No. This is object. We can set these things in object style, no? Object style. We can set these materials when selected by category. This is same, no?
But object style is actually something which is actually representing the things the way you want. But this is actually
Okay. Now you can check
been
the
done.
style.
Actually been done in the and the schedule also you can calculate the quantity of the glass. By object style you cannot.
Okay. Now you can check the object style of the door. What is the material in that also?
In the object style, see the door.
Good door. What is the expand? Glass.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll check the glass.
Yeah, glass.
So I mean,
Okay.
there are a number of ways we can apply in our daily requirement. Not only specifically to the door material, you can change the furniture material as well. Anything. More specifically, I found it more useful for constraining the dimensions, particularly in this for door offset from the wall. This is always a pain. Sometimes it displaced. So we can just add a dimension and set it to the global parameter. And then you can delete the dimension also, because if it looks ugly there in the floor plan, two dimensions are floating, you can delete. But still, it is there. The parameter has been set there. So it will be great if you go and apply, and in the next session, if you allow me to check whether anybody has applied or not, I want to see in the Q&A session also, if you guys are comfortable to share your screen if you want to join from your workplace, from your seat. So I would love to see each and every one showing me one example that how they have applied a shared parameter, a global parameter, only these two, because family parameter and project parameter are something which we deal on a daily basis. We are familiar with that. It will be nice. Ishtiaq sir is also there in the meeting. I see he has joined. So you can also suggest if we can plan to have the Q&A session from the desk of the candidates so that they can show, and we can also have some confidence. Yes, the team has learned and they are comfortable now. They can apply in the daily project. So it will be nice idea. But anyways, it is your choice. Shamim, you see that how to implement this. I find it very useful if everybody is doing some practice on this. Then there are chances, and there are chances some real-time troubleshooting is also required. Some real-time questions and queries will also come instead of having some hypothetical questions all the time. Don't take it otherwise. It happens for me also. If I don't do anything, just watching a video or something, there are so many hypothetical questions arose in my mind. But when I do, most of the things get clear myself.
I agree.
So anything you guys want to ask related to the shared and the global parameter, we can discuss. Because this is all about the requirement of the day. This is what our topic is.
Can you elaborate a little bit on the formulas we are using for the parameters and all?
Yes, I can, but we are having a different session, I believe, for that schedules, having the formula. If we don't have any question related to this, I can go and tell you about the formulas, because I believe there is a class specifically meant for the schedules and for formulas.
Okay.
If there is no question, then I can give you that class also. For example, let's deal with this only. See, what is the door offset been set? It has been set 150. And what about this wall clearance? It has been set to 500. For example, I am going to have some relative value. For example, I am going to make it 600. Okay. And I just want to deal it with the help of the formula, as if I change this value, it should also apply there in any form of the mathematical formula. So we see there is a relative, there is a relation between 150 and 600. So what we can do, we can just copy this name of this parameter, which is door offset. In the furniture clearance, it is instead of putting a value there, I'll just click there in the formula, just press this into 4. It will take the actual value of 600. If I change this value to 200, we see this should be 800. And we see in the project also. This has been set to 200 now, and this has been set to 800. This is the basic thing about the formulas. But if you want to make it more and more complicated, I would advise don't make it more complicated unless you are comfortable with the mathematical rule, maybe just with the help of the addition, subtraction, multiplication, bracket rule, then only make this workable. Otherwise, you may be good in mathematics dealing the formulas, but the other team members are not. So this is why it is advisable. If you are comfortable with the calculation rule, then only apply this. But this is how we apply the formulas. We need to just copy the actual parameter name and put it in front and then play with this. For example, I'm going to make it reverse. Instead of this having multiplication of 200, for example, I'm going to take this value, furniture clearance from wall, and I'm going to put it in the door offset formula. Put it there and make it divided by 4.
Kasi, you are placing a wrong place.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. That is why it is not allowing me. I'm going to cut it, put it there. If I change this value, 800, if I change to 500, oh, sorry. This 800, if I change to 500, you see it has become 125 automatically as a multiple of this 500. So this is how we apply the formulas. We can have some reasoning also in the formula, and we check and apply. In the Q&A session, I would appreciate if somebody of you have done some work with the formulas and come up with some problems that this formula is not working right. So for me also, it will be very interesting. I will find it more productive that if I deal with the live problems. Not necessarily be a very complicated thing, but a very basic thing. It should ensure that, yes, we are good to go. One more thing, I just want to put a little more light on this, since you are not having any question in this. You see here in the schedule how I calculated the concrete volume. Here, I just added a calculated parameter. I believe this is clear to everyone that how we create these calculated parameters. Even I am going to explain this in little more detail when we will be having the scheduled class, but still because I explained it today that how to calculate this, we can also edit this. So you can also do some practice in any schedule, having two values and just try to achieve the area, not the volume. Or alternatively, you can have, instead of formula, you can have the percentage as well. So try to do some exercise for the shared parameters, for the project parameters, for the global parameters, not project parameters. Also, project parameters are essential to be practiced because we should know that what is the difference between the family parameter and the project parameter. How it is applicable to different categories, how it is differentiated from the family parameter. It is always used.
Fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.